Alright. So, I am going to set up some couple of things. Actually, wait, I forgot to do this. Very professional, very professional. Uh, uh, that, that. Then the next thing was, yes, muting. Okay, there. Okay, I mute myself. I'll press this button. I should be switching scenes, but I'm not. Uh, I have the right scene here. Okay, it is working. It is working. Alright. I need to sort some things though. But there are things we need to speak about. This is very much going to be a technical talk today. Uh, I need to do something real quick. Yes, there. Um, alright, today's gonna be very much a technical talk where I'm probably going to be speaking about where we're going in the future. So, many of you guys probably will be surprised, seeing as I switch to the right scene. You know, I'm just gonna do this manually because I'm just gonna do this manually because I don't know how keyboards work just yet. I'm still getting used to that. Um, okay, give it a second. Hmm, is it switching the scene? Oh yeah, no, here I am. Okay, so wait, let me just hide the view real quick. Is that happening? Okay, yeah. So it did ways delayed on that screen. Okay, so there it is. All right, so now I'm also recording. So let's swap back. All right, so today will be a very technical talk today, and also a little bit of an introduction, as seeing as, for example, last stream I believe, I threw API in the title and it was kind of like out of nowhere. I also feel like I've just been streaming, and whoever's probably going to watch me probably don't even know what my plans are. For example, I was talking about last week. Again, I'm talking about same stream. Where I was talking about doing API stuff and all that, which haven't even been mentioned up until then. And so I wanted to kind of like communicate that properly, so everybody knows where I'm going at with this whole thing, so that they know, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I will be doing in the future. If I at least continue streaming until then. Let's hope. On the other screen. So yeah. Um, this is what I've been working on. Is it not? Is it not swapping? So yeah, let's just start with this. All right. So, um, this is what I'm going to be doing in the future. I'm going to be mixing, matching, playing games with coding. I would mostly hope that mostly will be coding. This kind of will be a monthly recap, seeing as I started with this about a month ago. And I wanted to start this a little while earlier, but I never got to it really. Not until the last Tuesday, and then I had an issue with my PHP file, which I was going to use to get the manifest. Again, I'm saying some words that you might not understand, and it's fine. I'll talk about those things later. And so this will be a little bit of a recap of what I've done for the last past month, and also what I will a little bit of an introduction to you, some of you people who haven't actually who don't know what API is, and so I'm gonna go over that right now. So what is the API? API stands for Application Programming Interface. It means in this scenario, kind of, it means that I've made a script. This script runs, and this JavaScript script basically means that it's in this scenario talking to Bungie's servers, and I'm doing this through their API, and through the API which I which their interface is then this and an HTTP request. And the way that I get to there, then get to communicate like to them, like any other person you would communicate to, you'd speak to them. And the way that I specifically speak to Bungie in this Bungie server in this context, I do this to their links, their Bungie.platform link. Now I use this to not only then see who is on. No, not see who's on what. Now I do this to see. I do this to then fetch data. Let's say I want to fetch data about my own character. And then I just kind of uh, now if I do this, oh, I don't know what to say. Um. So I speak to Bungie through the link. Okay. Now I do this to then send a HTTP request, and then this Bungie server will then parse the data that I send to them in their link. So I'm using a GET request to then fetch it. And now if you are wondering how do I even start with this, the first way you should start is the developer portal. The developer portal will literally show you everything that you need to know and will help you start with everything. So for example, right now, wait, let me just swap scene and log in so I have access to my developer portal. So the way that the developer portal works is that Bungie allows you to get an API key. This key is very important in that it allows you to... Okay, the block scene did not come up. Alright. So I'm between scenes is pain. But the way developer portal allows you to, first of all, create your own API. That you then can use to, or create your own app that you then can use to communicate to Bungie server and get data such as, let's say, what DIM fetches. DIM fetches all your Destiny character data. For example, your inventory, vendors, all that, and it does through the Bungie's API. Now since now in the API there's restraints to what you can do. For example, if I wanted to fetch this whole my whole character inventory on my warlock, for example, I would need to, actually my whole vault, any character really. If I want to get my inventory, not just my equipped items, I would need to authenticate myself. My app would need to not authenticate myself. My app would need to authenticate and get authentication from the user. Because moving out, let's say I wanted to, because it's kind of hidden data where they're like, alright, this permission, this is supposed to be only those who have gotten authentication from the user. And when you go through Destiny's OAuth, which again, I don't think you'll understand, so I'm talking very much gibberish probably, maybe to you. But it'll return, you'll basically get an access key, and you can then send that access key as well. For example, my OAuth, my app API key right now is kind of hidden. It's up in this file right here, hidden.js. I'll just kind of keep that a secret away from everything, because you're never supposed to show API keys. It's very much what. But I use the API. You use kind of the API key when you send requests, or when you send requests with higher whatchamacallit, a higher permission. Let's say I'm sending a simple request. Actually, let's do this because I'm really much kind of struggling to do this, and this will kind of just saying this right now is split into two parts right now. So I very much will speak about the manifest file later. again, you won't know what the manifest file is or anything like this. API keys, no, API is an application programming interface. The interface is the links. And the way that you use the links is through, or at least for in JavaScript, you use these links through an XML HTTP request, also known as AJAX. You can I've put a link down that leads to this website right here. This has a link of all the Bungie components, all of that, but most importantly, all the links which you'll need if you're going to be dealing with this. So, for example, let's set up a. Actually, wait, that's not the right one. So, yeah, so this is just a link to all the different links that you can get, so you can send data from and forth. So, for example, if you want to equip an item, you have to use the post requests. So in this case, you would write post in here, and you would write down the link that let's say equip item gives you here, the path here, with of course Destiny platform as the base. But how do you do that? For example, when I started this, I didn't know either. So you probably may be wondering how you actually use your API key and everything to do it. And this is a pretty good link as well that I put in the description, I believe. With the API key. No, not with the API key. How you use, how you actually send. You know how for different languages how you actually do the HTTP request. And this link, Destiny Devs GitHub.io, has pretty much everything you need to know about them. Really, they have from all the languages: Python, Java, and it's usually quite simple. And all you need to do is probably change a couple things, for example, the link, of course, your API key, and yeah, it has for JavaScript, for jQuery, JavaScript, PHP, and all that. I've been using JavaScript, so I'm kind of using a little bit of this kind of format. But how do you get your API key? And I mentioned the Destiny developer portal before. So if I were to go back to this link right here, if you scroll all the way down, developer portal right here, easy as that. You go in here. Of course, you need to be logged in. And I have this one here, but I think the API key is showing there, so I'm just gonna create a new one. Now, if you're gonna be doing what you call it, test this API key, I would recommend you put the star down here, because I had an issue, and I also read this up on the internet. I did a lot of research upon what really is why some of my calls weren't actually going through, and it was very annoying. And the reason were that sometimes it just doesn't work if you don't have the star. No, sometimes it doesn't quite work, but when you put the star in there, it fixes it for some reason. So yeah, here's probably what you want to call your application name, your website, if Bungie ever gives you a shout out or something like that, I think. And here's the auth client type. This is not something I'm gonna be dealing with yet. And the redirectory. This is mainly for the authentication of your app. So this is when you do the whole OAuth flow. The OAuth flow is something I'll get into a lot bit later, way later. But the premise of it is that you kind of send the user through a link. They get sent to a website that is connected to Bungie, and they then choose OAuth. So, for example, if I were to, let's say I decided to log out of DIM, which I don't know how I can do right now. Maybe I have to do this settings. I'll do this as an example. So account linking here. Wait, no. Here. Destiny item manager website. April and December 20th. I don't know which one. I'll just do this one. Evoke. So now if I were to update this website, dim, and I would go in again, I think I would have to. Right now, okay, so that was the wrong one. All right. So it's this one. So now if I were to update it, the access key they have is now going to be unavailable, and so they have to send me to the authentication flow. So in this case, what? In this case, I am the user, and they're sending me through. I don't know why it's not working. Authorized applications learn API. I think I did that waypoint. Maybe I need to update the site. That's probably why. Probably here. So if I do this, no, it seems that I don't know. Maybe it's because it hasn't updated yet, and so it hasn't disabled my API key, no, my access key for this. But what it really should do is it should send me through the OAuth flow, and where I then have to authorize the application. So I will have to authorize them. So if you have used any kind of like software such as the Bungie app on the phone or DIM, you probably would know the auth flow where you basically press an authorize button, and it'll send it to the whole auth flow, and in the end they'll get an access key from it, and they can use that to get all your data, or the data which you have allowed the scope in, which so but yeah, you can so if let's say if you were, and I'm pretty sure like it'll say what so it doesn't say on this side. I think it's the other one, this one, where it actually says what permissions you need to have for each. So if I go on endpoints, yeah, here. So if I were to go on, for example, here, so for example, to get this manifest, it has a no, not that. It has no permissions. But let's say if I wanted to uh get I was thinking either vendors or vaults. That's fine. I can just equip item. So you see here, move destiny item items. So it's basically saying you have to have that scope allowed. And that scope basically means that you have to get to the whole access key thing. So the auth flow to get. So you have to say, read your Destiny 2 information, vault inventory, and vendors, as well as Destiny 2 inventory data. Move and if you want to move items from your Destiny, like from inventory to vault or anything like that, you also need to have this scope. So that not just this with read. So if you have this one, you'll just the access key will give you access to read all this, and if you have this move and equip, you're basically saying that you're now allowed to move an item there. Yeah, I'm allowed to move this item to my vault, and like Dim does, kind of. But yeah, that's kind of the basics of what OAuth is. It's just basically allowing you to do more things because Bungie now, and because you've now gained the you've but when the user presses authorize, they basically allow you to do that. But yeah, that's the basics of OAuth, just giving you more permission to do more things in the thing in your API. But yeah, now back to what we're actually doing, which is just the usual way you're doing with API key. And so, as I said previously, a good way to start is the guides and getting started, as it has a very simple, let's say for JavaScript or PHP, how you send a request to get the item Galahorn from D1. Now this is a very simple thing to do, and it's also D1, which I'm probably not going to be focusing that much on. But it's a very good starting point for anybody who's trying to get into it. So, for example, let's say I want to, let's say let's start with the what's a good one to start with? Because I can just like go through this one right now with me. So I'm right now I just set the name here, var name to Caladium, also known as my display name in game. And this will then and then I instantiate or create the XML and the HTTP requests, and I set the link HTTP Bungie Destiny 2 Destiny inventory, and I search Destiny player and -1 for each kind of account. So it kind of like it searches the name, and it doesn't matter whether it's a PlayStation, Xbox, or PC or Stadia player. It doesn't matter anything of that. It doesn't care about that. If it's -1, I forgot to actually write down a link, which will be important. But yeah, now I'm just going kind of like go through an example of where I've done this. And so I'm probably gonna just say, let's screw all this and just say this. So we're basically saying here, okay, we want to get request, and we're using this link. Now, if we know, right, we can go here. If we remember correctly as before, we can go here and we can check. Okay, search Destiny player. What will this return us? It will say the parameters needed for it will be a display name. Okay, and it wants a membership types. And in Destiny 2 there are 3 membership types. There are no there are I've already mentioned. Okay, I can't remember all of them, but I mentioned one of them. -1 is all players, all membership types. Membership type is basically basically is, are you a PS4 player, are you an Xbox player, are you a PC player, are you a Stadia player, and -1 is not all like players. So it's like, if you just want to search in general, search in general. One I believe is PS player, PlayStation player. 2 I believe is Xbox, and 3 perhaps is PC, and 4 might be Stadia. I can't quite remember the actual number, but I just use -1 in general because I'm going to be making this website in general, and I'll talk about more about the website later. And this is just mostly a recap. I've deleted this somehow. But yeah, so I used the -1, and then so this is the actual link that they ask you to send through. So here's the Destiny 2. Say the path is this, and that the membership type. This is the membership type. So this is what you need to input in membership type. I input -1 for all players. Well, just search in general. And this display name as my Steam name, I think, in Destiny 1, no, Destiny 2. So it's -1 and the name, which is Caladium. And then don't mind this true, just keep it there. It's send it asynchronous. That doesn't that much matter. And then here I said set request header, which is API key. This is how the Bungie actually figures out the API key. And then you send in here the actual API key, which you get from Destiny, not from the from here, from the developer portal, which I actually can't seem to find. I guess I should do agree to this. I just write something in general. I'll delete this later, so it doesn't matter. Um, here, so it's sad. But yeah, this will be the API key that you get, and this will be just the auth thing. Don't matter that much. And the client ID. Again, these two things are very important for when you do the authentication of the program. This won't actually be that important right now. I'll deal with OAuth later, but what I'm mostly going to be doing is be dealing with permissions such as none, and then at a later point my website will use OAuth, and that's when I believe most things will the website probably will get more crazier then. But right now, sticking to quite simple things. Don't kind of like not don't jump in the deep water fast, kind of like that, too quickly. And this is kind of like the status of the API key. Is it active? Is it disabled? Well, now it is. Again, make sure you never make these API keys for something that you actually use. Be something visible on the internet. You don't want to do that. Never want to do that. So you take this API key and you put it in here, or you put it in your variable up here, or in your hidden file. Again, I'm streaming, so yesterday I put this in a hidden file, JavaScript file, and I also do that for the PHP file. So here I have again I post the key here up through the in the startup JS, which I get item data. So this is gonna be later, but in here I kind of send it the API key to the PHP file, which when you're dealing with API, or when you're gonna be dealing with something like the manifest file later, you will be using something like a backend. So either PHP or Python probably will be good. Maybe if you use Node.js, you could probably work around that. I'm not gonna say that won't be impossible. You probably could do that. But yeah, so moving on. We're moving on. So now we set a function to when the request is done. We say okay. When we're done, we want to run this function right here, and this function is if this dot ready state. So if it's ready state 4 and the status 200, this usually means that the transaction was successful, and this is a way to say okay, if it's successful, let's then parse what we get, because they will send you JSON data as a response back, and so you have to parse this data, and then I set this as kind of like my set this in a variable, not the best variable name, but hey, we move with it. It's fine. It's only like, yeah, it doesn't matter that much. You can call it your variable names whatever you want to call them, up to you. And then I said here user.display name, that. So let's take a look what this actually does when we run the website. And for that, actually, I should be running XAMPP right now. Forgot to run it. I do have it up here. Hold on, give me a minute. Let me just open up the file. So yeah, I use XAMPP to run the local server. For something like this, I probably could do without it, but it's fine. You're gonna be needing it for when you're dealing with part 2. Something which we're gonna be doing doing part 2, which is the PHP side of the thing. So right now now I just opened up the thing. So now I'm gonna put it back here to the scene. So here I'll be accessing it through this. So I'll say localhost PHP, and there, done. So And so let's see. Okay, we got an object back, and this object in so when we send this request, we send it, and I immediately just log out all the data that I got, the JSON data, or the response of it at least, uh, which will be cross save override 0 for at least for me, and the display name Caladium dot, which makes sense since I created mine as a PlayStation account. First my Disney account is started as a PlayStation account, so I have membership type 2. Oh, that actually means that I'm wrong here with this. So that means that's yeah, I don't know. You'll have to look that up. I forgot what the different types are. Um but yeah, my PlayStation name Kalim dot, yeah, makes sense. And this is the membership ID. This will be very important when you use again when you later are going to move on with the API. And if no, I just straight up took the response of this. But what happens if I just take raw JSON data? Well, then you'll instantly notice that the way that what I do, the way that Bungie actually does things. Now it's maybe misleading that I have a button here, but it's fine because I changed it yesterday. I usually ran a not a button. I ran a yeah, I usually ran the button, but now I just switch it to when the site loads in, so Windows does unload. But yeah, so you'll see this is actually the message that Bungie will give you. This straight up, this in JSON. It will return error status success. So I guess a message okay. So it means that okay, it went through, and we already know that because it went through the if statement. The if statement, if this raise state is not 4 and status is not 200, it will not go through. So we already know, okay, that means that it 100% gone through. We can also see it here. Well, I just showed my API key. Well, I'll need to change that now. It's fine. But yeah, so now you see that. So we kind of send this, and this is what what Bungie server returned to us. It gives us a JSON message with a response in it, and then now it will give us an array, and this array is based on however many players actually have like the same name. So it will search for people who have the same name. Luckily now I'm the only one who has the name close to Caladium, so it only found one account, so it just straight up found mine. Now if you you have if you have a name that's quite used, you probably need to find another. You need to, or now if now in general when you're doing this, you probably should make a method that actually like sorts, uh, kind of print down all the characters, so that if there is more than one character found, you can now user can select which one they want. I'm probably going to implement that in the future, but I have not done that yet. Now I'm probably going to do this really quick. So I'm probably going to switch on my thing. So I'm probably going to put this block up here real quick. And go in here, get a new API key so that I can actually continuously use this. So disable it. Get a new one. It's very simple. Yeah, it's very easy to do. And there, I just swap. And now everything should be working still. Wait, let me close this tab and hide the file. I apologize, that was my fault. I should not show that, but I did. I'm really not doing a good job at hiding them. Uh, I'm really not doing a good job at this. I was scared of showing this API key as well, and I instantly and guess what I did? I showed it, but it's fine because it's easy to generate new ones. Luckily, now I'm just gonna go out of this before I accidentally show it again, and we're back. Let's just show this one instead. I'll delete this one later as well. But let's see. The website should still be working just fine now. Failed to load research server. API. Okay, give it a little bit of. Oh wait, did I not save? Oh, I might have not saved it. Wait. Maybe I didn't save it. Wait. A little bit of a break, a little bit of a commercial break, as we have a little bit of a, as we have broke and made an issue right now. So I'll fix this one quickly. No, it is there. I don't know why I'm tabbing continuously when there's absolutely no point in doing it. Did I just get the wrong API key? Perhaps I did. Wait, let me just. Did not. I mean, it should update at some point, but. Alright, there, hide that, and hide this. And go back. I'm probably gonna cut this out later in the recording, but yeah, right now it's not working. Oh wait, no, wait, no. It's fine. It's gonna work later, but you can't see the point of what I'm doing. So we're now. So basically, now we've made an API where we're communicating back and forth to we're communicating to Bungie servers, and we're getting a response back. And now a simple way of looking at this is when you're in Destiny, which I don't actually currently have up right now, as I thought it would take too much space on my PC. Which is this you can kind of think of Destiny the game as well, as an API itself, because each time you equip an item in the game from the inventory, or you pull something from a vault, again, the game is also running a seamless API, and you don't know about it. So now I think I'm going to be moving over to part 2 of it. Or actually, no, you know what? What I'm going to be doing right now is I'm going to run an example. I'm just going to really quickly put this back to where it was, and there, exactly how that. I'm going to uncomment that. So now that we know all this, let's put it to use actually. Like, this is a good time to actually put it to use. So let's make a function actually. Let's write it from scratch actually. Let's be honest. Let's just do it. So let's say this I will use this link here, and this will be the way that I link from this part to the second part. So we're gonna use this link to get the Destiny manifest file. Now we can see now if let's check the permissions for this. Okay, so it returns the current version of the manifest as a JSON object. Okay, let's see. So we see. Okay, let's go here to check what the permissions for this one is. Oh yeah, one thing that I almost did actually forget to tell you guys, and that is that in Destiny the API has component types. So so for example, some of the links actually I forgot to tell you. Yeah, this is actually a big thing that I forgot to tell. I've been rambling on way too much, but let's say I wanted to say get character. So no, and if you have membership type and membership ID and the character ID, which usually will be like 0, 1, and 2. Let's say 0 if you have the first character made. No, if you have one character made, you probably just have one. This, it's basically you think of it as a box. So let's open up Paint. Actually, I'm very bad at this, but Paint. So let's say we have this. I'm very bad at painting, but it's fine. So let's say you've made 3 characters. All right. Let's say you've made 3. That means that actually let's start with saying you have 1 character made. Okay. And that means that that character is their ID in this case if you would be 0 as seeing as it's the first character you've made in the first character you have, like it's the first one stored. I believe they changed. It's kind of like a little bit confusing to say it, but I don't think Paint is a good way to illustrate this. So the character ID of your character's I kind of think of it as when you're loading up Destiny the game. You're presented with your characters, and let's say you've made 1 character to start off with. Then their character ID would be 0 because it's only 1 character, and you'll be returned a list of characters which are just 3 because no each one of your characters have a character ID in Destiny. So let's say you have and so when you're searching for which one you're doing really, you want to know which one you're searching for. Now, in the case of in my case, I don't really care about that, and I kind of decided to instantly just kind of go and so I in so I wait. So yeah, wait. Am I running this one? Right? Yeah, yeah, I'm running this one right now. So I kind of like set the ID to something. Wait. ID. So Destiny membership ID, my membership type, and the character. Oh wait, no. So this one will return. No, this one is this. So because first of all, I think I get my Destiny character, not my Bungie character. Bungie user. Then I get my Destiny character. Then I think here is when I actually get my actual character, and I believe so. Um, I run this and get here. So I use get profile right here, and it returns Destiny profile information with supply for the supplied membership ID and type, of course. So what I get back is this. That I pressed. So I get profile inventory. Actually, no, it depends on what you actually. So here's where component types come in, really. So Destiny the API has a lot of components, and each of these components are marked in numbers, such as you see here. I have component number 100. Now, what does component number 100 mean? Well, I forgot to put this in the description, but I should have done that. Bungie API. If I can type properly, components. So here, yeah, okay, here's a very simplest formatted. Alright, so here you have several different components. Now, I chose component number 100, which is profiles. Now, profiles is most basic component, only relevant for calling get profile. This is returns basic information about your profile, but it's almost nothing. A list of character IDs and some information about the last time you logged in, and that most sobering statics how long you've played. I can't say sobering. I can't say it sobering. I can't. I'm so yeah. Again, it returns very simple things. Okay, so I think I was wrong about the character ID thing, but uh, yeah, I was wrong. I actually forgot this part. So actually, your characters are not numerated in 0, 1, and 2. No, it actually has a specific ID. Which I then use this call to get profiles to then get the ID of the character. And I use this component type. So let's go back to here. So usually it will say, okay, you need this. Okay, so it says you need membership type and membership ID. Okay, then it comes down to path parameters. So it says, okay, you need Destiny membership ID. All right, we need it here. Membership type we need it here, and then it says query string parameter. What is the query string parameter? The query string parameter is kind of like the components part of it. So when you're saying this question mark, when you're having this slash question mark components, kind of. So in this case, it's saying, all right, a comma separated for component. This is if you have more. So, but we usually when it says components here, I could probably pull up this one because I feel like this one kind of explains it better. The site. Get profile. So usually, so here says parameters are membership ID and membership type, and also it also says that query string is components. Actually, this question mark components part. It says it is not required, but let's say we want to run this I can run. Yeah, let's run this quickly without the query string parameter. What happens then? Well, I can tell you one thing, and that is that you get absolutely nothing back. And even though it says it's not required and it's optional, yes, but if you really want to get data back from the request, you actually need query users not defined. Oh wait. Failed to load resource. Server responded with status 500. The API key still okay, so it still doesn't like my new API key, but basically what it would return in that case is it would just return it wouldn't return anything. It would return it would return a response with nothing in it, and so that's why even though it says it's optional, yes, it's you very much want a component type, so you want this question mark question mark component, and use this to get different kind of data from it. So, for example, when you then are going to move on to get, let's say, character. For example, if you want to get your character's inventory, like the equipped items, because if you want inventory involved again, you have to go through the auth flow. And again, here again, when you go to character, you will need the component types again, and so uh, you'll have to write this question mark component. And of course, if you want to use multiple components at the same time, you just have that comma in between and just separate them. But that's how Bungie servers knows what kind of data you're looking for. And of course, in this case, 200 means this will get your summary info info about your characters, and 201 will give you the character's inventory. But this again will require you to have, I think, higher permission, render data. I don't know. This other kind to render your in character, I think. And again, that is kind of like 3D rendering, kind of very hard to do. but yeah, this is the one that I use. This will return info about the equipped items. So any kind of gear that I actually run on Destiny 2. And I feel like a good example would be to actually pull up. I think I'm gonna pull up the game real quick because I feel like it's actually gonna help you guys understand this a little bit more. So I'm just gonna go on Steam real quick. Uh, no, I think the PC probably gonna struggle now, but it's fine. We'll see how long it lasts before I start getting some uh issues from some frame rate skips. Let's hope that doesn't happen. I've already been recording for 50 minutes. uh so yeah. Right now I'm waiting for the game to launch up, but I'll continue to explain this. So basically I'll get back characters inventory from this, and it doesn't require anything permission for this, so I can do this. Didn't do that, and I used kind of so you use the component numbers to get different kind of data from it back. Uh, so while the game loads up, I'll continue to explain this. But so you use components to get different kind of results back from it. And I'm sorry that I couldn't actually get an example running because the API key just didn't want to work. Did I update? Oh wait, I might have been because I didn't. Wait, let me try something. Maybe that'll fix it. I'm gonna try this real quick. Syntax and the input. What is this? It's the function get. I'm really struggling to keep on top of all this. I'm trying to keep explaining this all, and I'm very much struggling. So, apologies. I don't know why this still ain't working. API key is invalid. I don't know why. I'm actually sending the right one as well, so I don't know. So I don't understand. Alright, so here's a good example. So, back to the game scene. Actually, wait, block scene real quick. Let me just make sure that I'm not showing my API key because I don't want to deal with that again. Hide that. Hide that. I'm gonna try something real quick. Maybe it's because I didn't save the settings on it. I should have though, so I don't know why I didn't do it. I'll try and fix this real quick. But if I don't, then yeah, this kind of just like save changes. Maybe I didn't do that. Is that why? If I didn't, I could probably use this on the other one that I have for now. No, okay, I probably just need to give it a little bit of time. But in theory, what it should be doing, it should be returning the API key. Yeah, so in theory, what it should be doing is it's based on the component number that I'm giving it, it should return a specific piece of data. And so if I had 205, then it would return my inventory items. If I had just 200, it would give me kind of like the summary of data. So kind of like my character's emblem in this case. I should be recording Destiny footage right now, so or showing it on the screen. It's loading though. So it will show, okay, this is my weapon first, then second this, my secondary, my heavy, and then this is kind of like the data that would be showing when I use character inventory, or it would send me the item hash, and that's where this part comes, and this is where this kind of gets a little bit tough for at least me and I think many others, because it sends the item hash and the item instance ID. But if you really want to want to get the perks from it, no, really want to get like the static data about it, for example, the weapon, the damage type, the weapon type, what kind of rarity it is, then you're going to have to go through the manifest file, and that's what we're going to do right now. So this is part two. So part two, the Destiny 2 manifest file. I've given you guys a general recap of what how you kind of send these and how you use these. How you really just send requests, at least in JavaScript, and how you use and how some requests now requires you to use component numbers. And so I've done this continuously forward in this kind of setting. I still don't understand why the wait, is it using a old? Is it still using? Wait. Still Bloxy, yeah. So it's okay. Wait, I think I understand why it might be going haywire, and I probably could fix it actually right now. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to restart my local server, and I'm going to start it back up because it seems like the thing is not properly updating the API key. Actually, I noticed. It's still a block on Bloxy, yeah, right. Alright. I don't know why it's hasn't updated this site. I don't know why it doesn't do it. Why isn't it updating it? New file. It still has the old API key, so I'm kind of a little bit questioning why it still has the old API key when I look at the server. And that's kind of what's very much weird right now. And I don't get why. Especially when I update the website or the server. Might try and have to restart my the whole XAMPP thing. So bear with me for a second as I restart it real quick. I'm just gonna do a full restart of it. So I don't know why it didn't work. It's because the API the server wasn't actually updating my JS file with the API key in it for some odd reason. Which is very annoying and also very unfortunate because it costs this much time now. Luckily, I'm pretty much gonna dedicate most of the stream just to talk about this, and I'm probably going. I'm recording most of this, so I'm hoping I don't mess up horribly. Again, it still hasn't updated the hidden file. And I'm kind of wondering why. It should have. I'm just gonna do this real quick and move it over here instead. Maybe that'll fix it. Let's change it to this. This fixes it. I'll be. Why am Why is everything going absolutely haywire right now? Doesn't make sense. User is not defined, and why is okay, I see why. I see exactly why. Yeah, I usually use Java, so I kind of tried to make an object at some point. I wanted to learn that. I kind of like try to make classes like you would. Just forget it. You wouldn't understand. All right, so I fixed it, and let me just check everything. Nothing is that I should show is showing. I don't want to make another error where I suddenly show it, and then I don't want to, because then I'll just get more issues and more. I believe everything is good to go, and all right, so back to where we were. So when I send through okay, now the API key should work, and okay, so we're sending this information over here, and we're saying component number 100. So let's say, okay, I want to uncomment this. Let's see what we actually get. Now I have my own thing right now running, so a total what I'm doing in my thing, as a recap, I'm basically first getting the character data. My Bungie.net user, so I'm getting my membership ID, my membership type, and my display name. I'm then sending this onwards in this function over here, and also saving this in this use object, and then later then continue over here, and to then get my characters, and I'll then get my characters as an ID, which I then for each character I have. Send it continues on over to this function over here, get character info. Of course, I have these parameters ID and type profile. I'm continuously sending those through. Maybe I shouldn't have some of these. Maybe like the user, not the ID and membership type. Maybe I could drop those. I might do it at some point, but I'm not sure right now. And so I'm continuously sending this information through to more so functions and all that. Every single time my raise status, the HTTP request is done, its raise status is complete, and then I'm sending this through with these components type over here, and I then get this kind of data. Since this function here, I got the character IDs. I now can get my inventory of I could get my general information about my user and my gear about a user. So this is what I get in the first layer. This is what I get in the first one. So create user. This is the information I get there, and this is the information that I get from this one. Get characters, and this is now every single of these arrays. This is what I get from get character info. And what I get here from gear is what I get from get item data, which uses the part 2. I think I said I was going to do part 2, but I haven't still done that. I can't believe it. But this, yeah, but this basically is specific little data about each one. So I believe this one is my Titan. I think this one's my Warlock, and this is my emblem background. Now that's also another request that I can actually do instantly right now. And I believe if I just do this and I go here and I then go back to my website, and I copy this and put this in here, and I move this, of course, and this. I believe. Okay, no, that's my Titan actually. That's my Titan. So that the first one must be my Hunter. But this is my emblem on my Titan. So if I were to go back here, actually. Oh wait, no. I'm stupid sometimes. Actually, wait, did I? No, yeah, I took the wrong one. Of course I did. Oh wait, I shouldn't have done that. Over here and copy and paste. So now if I do this, now I should get my Warlock's emblem. Yeah, so you see here, which is exactly like this one. So here I kind of get that, and then get item data, which is part 2 of this, which I'll get into quite quickly. I'm trying to speed this up as I've used already quite a lot of time. Is where I get each pieces of my gear, and so this is how my work right now. So this first item should, in theory, be my primary weapon, which is my, as you saw from Dim, my long shadow. Now I don't think I've implemented a way to get specifically my perks. I don't think so, but I have managed to get my what you call it, my static kind of data about it. So if I were to go to my display properties, then description is inhale, exhale, flash of light, endless fallout. I don't know what the rest of it is, and I believe this is kind of the icon for it. So if I were to go here again, use this kind of typical Bungie link. So now we're not using platform anymore because we're not using the endpoint. Now we're getting specific kind of images from Bungie servers. So we're using common instead. And here we have the image of it, and I believe if I were to scroll a little bit more down or look more down, the name, which is Long Shadow, which is on my weapon, Long Shadow. So this is how I then use get item data, which part 2, which I'll go into now actually, which is a good time. And so I'll start it by making this call. This call is function manifest. I'll call it mani actually. Now I'm going to get the manifest data from my as a startup. I'll kind of a little bit as a quick startup to it. I'll get the manifest actually from Bungie servers. I'm wondering, am I having frame skips? A little bit. Okay, not that many, so I'm happy with that. So let's say I am here. Okay, so I'm here. Okay. Let's say now part 2, which is the Destiny manifest file. The Destiny manifest file is very important, I would say. Because if you're like me and your website is going to get a lot of kind of like static data from, let's see, many items, or let's say my weapons. I'm gonna need a file because I think I read this article from Alan Hage as well, that if you were to for example read all the data from your vault and your inventory and all that, kind of like Dim does, and if you would try to do that through the API calls of, so for example you would go then and do get entity definition, all this. I don't know how exactly this works, but if you would use this, for example, to call to get a little bit of static data from each weapon, you would kind of maybe have to do let's say you have a very a very like have a character which is very developed in the game, so you have full vault or something like that, or many weapons, it'll be a lot of data stored, and so you would have to make many calls of this. And I believe the math turned out to be about 2 minutes and 30 seconds for it. So that's why it's very much inefficient to do it. And when you're doing them many calls, when you're supposed to get a lot of weapon data, you like static data such as like this as I've already made an example towards. If I can scroll towards my long shadow, you would the best way would then be to use the manifest, and the way you would get the manifest is through again another. It's kind of special in the way that it's more steps than usual to first of all set it up. And so the first way we do it is by first of all using if I can actually set this up correctly. So first of all we need to write a link for it. So I'm gonna have to